Hi everyone, Sharon here with Max Senior. Well, I went bird watching again with Ben and the bird watching group, and this time we went to what's called Albany Bulb. I had never heard that term, but it's at that off ramp where you go to the racetrack, and you'll see the racetrack in the video in a little bit. But it's the Albany waterfront, and I'm too far away really to see those birds, but of course later on I'm going to show what we saw and the sounds they make. And we had a gentleman join us, and he had a wonderful telescope also, and it was great to have another guy along. It's usually just us women, and I love that pocket that Ben uses to just carry his bird book in to make the identifications. And here's a gull sitting up on the light. I don't know what that other bird is. I wasn't around anyone close, but here's some egrets, and I know that they saw a snowy egret that day, and I think another type of egret we'll see later on. And I thought this was a very interesting tree. I've never seen a tree grow like that. Of course, it had a lot of limbs taken off, but it was a very interesting individual tree, I thought. And I don't know what this type plant is either, but it reminds me of Dr. Seuss. I love the way those egrets fly in. And in a little bit, you'll see the sandpipers. There they are. I like watching them, the way they fly together and then land on the water and scurry along, and then they take off like they all have one mind. Isn't that great? There they go. I could just watch them do that for hours. So I wanted to show just a little bit of the area close to the freeway. This is directly under part of the freeway, and it's a bike path. And this was a little hummingbird. I think that is called Anna's hummingbird. And you know, this was at about, I'd say about 11 o'clock that I shot that photo, and the traffic was really bad that day. And of course, here's Golden Gate Fields. We walked right past the entrance along our walk to the bay. It's actually called the McLaughlin East Shore Park. And you know me, I love clouds. This doesn't do the sky justice. It was really magnificent that day. The different textures of the clouds, the different levels of where the clouds sat in the sky, and then the blue sky showing through at times. And then also I loved how there was little bits of color, and these plants just, I think, are exquisite. I love how they look. I don't know what they are either. Oh, and this is a burrowing owl. They are so little and sweet, and they're almost extinct. There was one that they were protecting in this area, and they found it dead on a bench. So I don't know if there's more of them coming in, but they're definitely endangered. And they're trying to encourage them to come nest in this area. And there's another shot of the traffic. And I just thought this was an interesting tree. And this was a statue on the way. We're getting closer to the bay now. And a lot of people bring their dogs here. And there were several water dogs that was just having such a great time jumping in the water and chasing things. And all the dogs seemed to get along real well, though. So that was nice. And this is just a sweeping view back then towards the raceway. And this almost looked medieval, but of course it's not. And I wondered what it was, and then I climbed up on top and, oh, gosh, it's a little tiny amphitheater where you could have a little bonfire. So here we are actually at the bay, and of course there's the Golden Gate Bridge and San Francisco in the background. And see the dogs playing? They just had such a good time. I would have hated to be their owners, though, getting them back in the car. And that was a little dog that had wheels for its back legs. I hoped to get closer to him, but I didn't see it again. Of course, that's looking back at Albany. It's really a beautiful place. And the city looks very close. And this was, they said, an area that had the largest homeless community that camped out here, and the city of Albany evicted them. So they're not there anymore, but they left this little bit of evidence of their time there. And I loved seeing the color, and those plants, I'm not sure what they are. I think there's some form of lily, it seems, but the leaves certainly look like gladiolus, so I don't know what they are. But I got up a little closer. And this is them, I guess, in full bloom, and then in a little bit you'll see there, that's what they look like before they bloom. Or I guess that's part of the bloom, but it just hasn't opened yet. I guess you might say that's the bud of the flower that opens. Aren't they interesting? And that was just an interesting piece of wood. And this was pink roses. Now those don't look like wild roses to me. And I don't know who planted them, but it definitely is a climbing rose. There was branches of it all over. And this was a little, I'm not sure what this thing is. It's certainly not a squirrel, and I don't think it's not a chipmunk. And it has little pointed ears. If any of you know what this is, let me know, because I was fascinated by him, and I got fairly close to him, and he didn't seem to be scared of me. Of course, I didn't try to go down and pet him either. And then I'm walking back. I had to leave early. I left at noon, and I thought I would videotape some of the daffodils along the way, walking back to my car. I love daffodils. They're one of the first flowers of spring, and they're the mascot for the American Cancer Society. I used to volunteer for them, and one year I was daffodilly, and I made myself a daffodil costume and went around and delivered daffodils to hospitals. So here's the birds and the sounds they make. So until the next bird watching trip, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.